Now, as we enter sequence, the next part of this, the engagement phase, the execution and fieldwork, let's explore, okay, the internal audit. Let's explore the internal audit practices, particularly as we shift our focus to the execution um, phase of the audit. So these where planning transforms into action, and its success hinges on effective methodologies, evidence gathering, and communication. Now, you already introduced communication earlier, where we interview people, where we talk with people. And let's talk about, have you encountered any challenges when gathering this information? Okay.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I think it's common
Mhm.
because as internal auditors, we have to have also that assumption that the business process owners have competing priorities. They
Mhm.
have a work to do. They have the 8 to 5 p.m. activities, 8 to 5 or 9 to 6,
Oh, yeah.
whatsoever.
It depends on the
So
organization.
you have to have that assumption that basically audit will be an additional work for them.
Mhm.
So you have to understand their situation. You have to also what we call the word is empathize.
Mhm.
Yes.
Empathize with them, because if you force them, just in short, kulitin mo sila,
Mhm.
it's counterproductive. You will just play hide and seek. So basically,
Oh.
the challenge really is getting them on board
Mhm.
and for them to really appreciate what we're doing. Because if they think that we are just burden to them, then they will not cooperate. So I think the biggest challenge in every internal audit work is the cooperation of our audit clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I think basically we have to be creative
Mhm.
in dealing with them. So you can't treat one person or one audit client the same as
The
another
same,
one.
yeah.
So it's going to be different. You have to, as an internal auditor, you have to be a psychologist.
Yes.
Partially a psychologist, you
I
have
think
to know
people
their
skills,
their
right,
tendencies.
is
Uh-uh.
one of our competency.
Yeah.
One
Can
of
we
the
say that
competency that
still people, okay, in different organizations are still traumatized with the word audit? I mean, they still
I
have
think
that
so. They still have that
past
We
image,
still have that stigma
that stigma, okay,
as internal
of,
audit, unfortunately.
as a fault finder,
Yes,
as
a
a police, and so
yes.
on, okay.
Mhm.
So, have you encountered those challenges, or are there other challenges you encountered?
I think it's mostly on that, on how they perceive us.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
there are ways, right?
Yes.
There are ways on how you can address those issues or
Mhm.
challenges as internal auditor. Like when we do our kickoff,
Mhm.
we introduce internal audit, that we're part of the governance within the company, that this is our objective, this is
Mhm.
our mission and our vision, this is our role in the organization.
Oh.
And so it's also marketing
Okay.
is part of our role.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to really
Uh-uh.
market, to really change that notion that
Mm-mm.
we're just fault finders.
All right. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so do they appreciate those kinds of orientation,
Yes,
those marketing
it's really
efforts?
part of our introduction.
Yes.
It is a good thing our chief audit executive is also very collaborative
Mm-hmm.
with regard to the other units. I think that's very important that your leader or the head
Mm-hmm.
of the internal audit knows how to
Yeah.
yeah, collaborate with the operations especially.
Your responses are very generic. Okay, may I ask for specific situations where you encountered a a, a difficult, okay, auditee or client, awkward, or it made the situation awkward or so on?
Uh, well, maybe that person. Of course, I think that's again part
Mhm.
of our job that we do encounter those kind of people.
Mm-mm.
But maybe at that time, she looked at us as a fault finder.
Oh,
Maybe it's the
okay.
perception.
Yes.
And as such, I had to
Mhm.
approach that person and explain to her where
Yes.
we're coming from as
Mhm.
well. But I had to listen to her as well. I mean, just to mend whatever
Mhm.
relationships was broken during the
Mhm.
audit. And it really happens. And it's a learning every time on how
Okay.
you communicate and
Mhm.
interact with
Yes,
people.
yes, yes.
It's part of the job.
Now we are in the topic of communicating already, okay? And you know, mo- I conducting effective interviews, okay, trainings at IA Philippines, and uh, one of the questions that are often asked is, what is the most effective tool for building rapport? So, in your experience, what has been the most effective?
Well, for me, I think the most effective will be really empathizing and understanding them.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, you have that's why planning is also is connected to this part because, for example, you're auditing a finance function. Of course, you don't want to follow up on them during their closing period.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll get a very adverse response. So I think building rapport will be probably getting what's their interest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Another one is observing what time are they most comfortable talking to. So that would involve observation, but also learning from the other auditors. So you
Yes,
can
yes,
you can
yes.
ask them because there are auditors that don't work well in mornings.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically understanding them and putting yourself on their shoes. You don't have always to be imposing. So you don't have to really be forceful, very forceful because at the end of the day you need them.
Yeah.
You need
True.
their cooperation, and it will only make you work harder if you do not build that rapport.
Indeed, you're a part psychologist, sir.
Yeah, I think I think that's very important.
Important.
Yeah,
Uh-uh.
very important trait of an auditor.
Agree.
Do you have another practical tip for
Well,
building
I guess
rapport?
one is to also be transparent. You just be honest with how you do things. You need not to put up a face.
Yeah,
That just
okay.
because I'm an auditor, I have to be like this. I have to be serious. All the more that you should smile more.
Yeah.
And do chit chats. It doesn't have to be always about work. You can do like small talks with them. Ask them how they're doing when you approach them. No, not to be too serious about things, right? I think that's one thing I've learned because people usually see me as very serious. So I've
Yes.
learned how to smile, even I'm not like that. But I mean, it's part of the job, and it's nothing wrong, no, doing things that's outside of your comfort zone, right?
It's really about being genuine
Yes.
about what you really are and who you
Yes.
are.
It's
okay?
not just because you'll be getting something from them, but you really care and you want to help them.
Yes.
I think it'll show in your demeanor and how you approach them.
Yeah.
There
If
has
we-
to be that purpose when you do your reviews.
It's really empathy, right?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it may not be a business term, but it's really important, okay, in
Yes.
these kinds of engagements.
Yeah.
All right. Now, one of the questions also often asked in my seminar, okay, is this. Sometimes these, they are rank and file, but they'll be interviewing someone higher, all right? And they feel intimidated, okay, by the superior, okay, or by the supervisor, or even the manager, okay, even to the point that at times they could not continue with the interview anymore, okay, so or they could not fulfill, okay, their objective. What could be your tip for them?
I think the most important part of that is really accepting that your role as internal auditor, even if you're a junior auditor, you'll be encountering persons that are higher than you.
Yes.
But you have to look now not only on your rank, but the position of your organization as well. So that if you're an internal auditor, you don't represent the rank and file
Yes.
or
It
the
comes with the authority.
internal or just the junior auditor part, but you're actually representing the internal audit function. And the function of internal audit should be regarded as something that is not very, I don't know, what do you call this? You should also have that mindset that your position is important to
Alright.
the business, as important as the position of the others. So I think that's the first part there. Regardless of your position in the organization, you represent the organization, and that's the most important thing.
That's nice. Okay, you represent the organization. Okay, all
And I
right.
guess you have to come prepared.
Mhm.
I always tell even the auditors, our
Mhm.
auditors within the team, that when you go to an interview, don't just go there and just ask.
Ask. Yes.
You're supposed to do your assignment
Yeah.
before you go there so that you can collaborate and that people will see you. So if they see you that you know what you're talking about, right, you will at least gain some respect from them. And that is one way of also building rapport.
Yes.
When people see you that, he
Yeah.
or she knows what she's doing or what
Mhm.
she's saying, then of course people will have a different perspective.
Yes.
Right?